Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best Mario Kart game ever made, and I have put so much time into it. So before the last 24 DLC tracks released for this game, I wanted to sit down and make a definitive ranking for every single track in the game. I hope you enjoy. There's a lot of stuff that I think goes into a Mario Kart track that goes unnoticed unless someone points them out. And I think I'm good at pointing those out. First up, this track. It's kind of a basic track, right? A circuit race, that's what I like to call them. They're short tracks, they're on roads, there's not too much going for them. But I think this is the best version of a track like that in a Mario Kart game ever. I think this track is absolutely perfect. It's easy to like follow along even if you don't play the game. What this track does have that most other circuit tracks don't. This track is really, really good at rewarding players that like have also played for a while where most circuit tracks don't. I was thinking about it and I was like, Toad Harbor is probably a solid track, but the more I think about it, Toad Harbor just moves up and up. This track just looks, look at all the toads, man. They look so happy. Why is this here? Like, I get it has 3 coins and a boost pad, but like, you can just hop through the grass and it's just better. Just an amazing track all around. Shout out Toad, man. I think Twisted Mansion might be a little too much. If you're just having friends over or like playing with friends that don't play that much and just want to like race, why in God's name are you picking this track? This is the best song I think I've ever heard in a Mario Kart, in most games ever. I think this is easily the best underwater track in any Mario Kart game, pretty much any game that has water, because underwater stuff usually sucks, right? Even though it's like the best underwater track, it's still an underwater track. This track is very divisive, I have learned. I know people that do not like this track, and I think that's because this track is not very friendly from like a non-competitive standpoint. You know, you're just like a casual, you're just playing with your friends, trying to have a good time. This track makes people mad. That being said, though, I think those people can suck my dick, and this track is perfect. I love this track. Pretty much any segmented track is amazing in this game, and I don't know if the segmented tracks thing is because there's not many. I don't know if that adds to it, but segmented tracks are so good. But I also think it's because you're racing on more track. Yeah, the variety, how they race. The theme of this track is so cool, how you go into like the slaloms and stuff. So yeah, I think that is actually a perfect track. I'm glad we're all in agreement on that. This track on 150 in this game is great. This beginning section is like the worst designed section ever. The fact that it's as much of an asshole as it is on 200, and the fact that it's a rainbow road, I think earns an asshole tier. I don't want to be that guy because Mario Stadium's already up here. I low-key think this track is also perfect. I love this track. Paco wasn't wrong. It is kind of like a different font, but this track is done so beautifully. Fun to race all competitive, but also fun to race casually. It's not a sleeper track. There's cool mushroom spots. There's cool no item shortcuts. It races different on 200. Like on 200, you can like cut through crazy parts of the grass. There's a lot of mushroom spots to cut through and stuff. And this track is just perfect. It's actually perfect. Oh. I am asleep. The only thing saving it from being this tier is that there's nothing in that tier yet. I think this is the most boring track in the entire world. I hate this track. All right, what's next on the list? Oh, I will not hear anybody out. This track is perfect. I love this track. The DK barrels, the music, the no item shortcuts. But 3DS, I think, might have the second best track lineup behind this game. Because 3DS, they really popped off. I would love like a Mario Kart Ultimate, where it's just every track and like every character. They almost have every character except for a few big ones, but I would love a Mario Ultimate. Sherbert Land is probably just asleep. I don't know if, and does anyone like Sherbert Land? I don't hate Sherbert Land. It's not like it's a bad track, but it's just like, it's honestly probably a will play on random track. I'm not picking Sherbert Land. This track has like a good idea, but obviously it's from like an old system and it's not fleshed out well. It's so hard to fall in the water. It's so hard to mess that up. I'm not gonna pick this track. It's very surface level. This track is getting its own tier. This tier is just gonna be called Melee. By the way, that's a joke. I don't actually hate Melee, but it's carried by nostalgia. This track is kind of, oh, actually, no, I like this track. I don't know. The whole idea of different paths is really cool. Bad thing is, the best path, everyone knows what the best path is. So really, there's just one path. Two, if you count, like, I guess the bridge is kind of like a shortcut on the path, even though that's the one everyone takes, obviously, because it's faster. It's 2023, right? Like, even in casual, people know which way to go. God, this is becoming a mess. Good track, bad gimmick. This is becoming a mess. I'm actually... Oh, God. Okay, TikTok clock. I'm gonna be so honest. I don't know if there's big TikTok clock people here. Asleep. I think TikTok clock is boring as This is the most DS track ever. Like, no rounded edges, because the DS couldn't make a rounded edge. This is kind of cool, but in real races, the chances that, like, the cycle comes around is, like, you know... Oh, wow, look, there's spinning gears. Oh, guess what? Even this one is slower than going straight. I think this track is so boring. This track is going in Melee tier. Now, Melee tier, I called it Melee tier kind of as a joke, but just living off... Actually, no. What's something that's living off nostalgia better than Melee? This is the Charizard tier. Charizard's cool. He's fine. It's just nostalgia, right? N64 Rainbow Road is like it's like a pretty boring track. It gets docked points because people overrate it because of nostalgia. If anything, I'd have it at least here. It's crazy how, like, all you have to do is have anti-grav tracks to have, like, two of the coolest shortcuts in the game. Both shroomless, too. One thing that I like about this track more than... I think Big Blue is definitely a better track overall. This track commits more to the F-Zero thing, though, you know? Like, this track is so fun. The whole thing is just so fast. Especially on 200, you just fly. And that's really fun. Ooh, a classic. Wario's Gold Mine. I don't know if I love it because of nostalgia or if I love it because it's just a really good track. I don't think it's perfect, for sure. I definitely don't think it's perfect. I will say, because it's a Wario track, I did like when the rail carts would hurt you. I'm sad they didn't put the zipper on this track because, like, they put the zipper on Maple Treeway, so I don't know why they didn't put it on here. But I do miss that. Let's go down here. Beautiful. There's a boost pad down here. I never knew that. Really good, but not as good as original. Baby Park. Okay. Okay. Competitively, obviously, Baby Park is terrible, right? It's not a secret. So I have this theory with Baby Park, right? People that, like, maybe aren't as good pick it, and they feel like it's my best chance to RNG my way to first. It's also my best chance to RNG to last. Sure, it's like, oh, I could beat you because... There's 50 green shells and 3 bullet bills and flying around the track. But it's also like, oh wait, I'm getting hit by those too. I normally get 4th when we play. And now I'm getting 8th. And it's like, great, now everyone just feels like shit. And it just sucks for everybody. It's not good for... No one is happy. So, like, what's the point of playing Baby Park? There is none. Why does it exist? Fuck this track. Cheeseland. Asshole. Why can you cut off so much track? Why can you cut off a third of the track? I think Animal Crossing is a perfect track. The seasons, the fact that the track changed a little bit with the seasons, the fruits being mushrooms, you collect bells. I like the design of it a lot. It's the only track, I think, that I have in Perfect that doesn't have a NISC. This game is the best Mario Kart game, and maybe best racing game. Just one of the best games ever that I've seen, with matching aesthetics of their level. I really like the balloon items. Big fan of that. I just think it's a perfect track. Amazing track. KK chillin'. Yeah, really just an all-around heater. And let's just get out of the way before we watch it. This track is perfect. This is probably the best track in the game. Let's just be honest. I do love this shortcut, though. Coconut Mall, probably really good, but not as good as original, right? Coconut Mall OG was really good. I know they updated the cars, but I like the cars going back and forth better. They are missing zippers, and, like, zippers I would never take, but I like. I do think Coconut Mall drove better on the Wii version of the game. I think Wii physics fit the map better. Is that crazy or is that valid? And that could be me with like rose-tinted glasses, but I think it's not quite as good as the original. This might be a hot take. I think Waluigi's a Charizard map. I think Waluigi Pinball should have been modernized, and I think they should have added a section to it, and they should have made it a segmented track like they did with N64 Rainbow Road. And I think it didn't age well, and I think it's a sleeper track, but people like to talk about it. Most famous track from the DS, you know? And I think because of that, people hype it up more than it is, but I think it's a sleeper map, but it's going in Charizard because people hype it up. Sky High Sundae, asleep. Actually asleep. The only thing saving it from here is that it looks cool. Like, all these tracks are asleep, but also look really shitty. Boo Lake, I think, is another boring track made amazing. Actually, hot take. Hot take. This might be a very hot take. Is Boo Lake perfect? Boo Lake is a good-ass track. I think Boo Lake is just such a good, fast, small track. What's next? Maple Treeway? Ooh, is this track perfect? It's very close. It's either so close or perfect. I like a lot of some of the changes they made to it too. I'm actually a big fan of them. I'll put in perfect for now. I might bump it down. Peach Gardens, I changed this to made a boring track amazing because Peach Gardens wasn't boring before, but they made it better, I feel like. All right, and one more. I guess I'll load it up. I don't think this track is perfect, but I think this track could just like trim the fat a little bit, you know? I love that you're going around the planets. I love like the moon with the Olimar rocket on it. I think that's really, really cool. Okay, as the tier guy would say, the tier list guy would say, it's their problem now. All right. That was fun.